Have you ever held back an idea just because you didn't want to sound rude and you didn't want to challenge the authorities? That little voice in your head that says, hey, maybe let's just keep quiet and not challenge that idea. Maybe if you do that, you might sound rude and they may get offended, and maybe the other person may take you the wrong way. If this scene is familiar to you, then this video is for you. Hi, I'm Jules T, and welcome to the Jules T Talk channel. Why should you listen to a 45-year-old in a yellow dress getting ready to go out? By day, I'm working in the middle management in the manufacturing industry. I've been making mistakes and I've messed up for the past 20 years, and I want to share with you those little tips that can help you at work so that you don't have to learn it the hard way. Today, I'm going to share with you one simple technique so that you can disagree professionally and diplomatically without damaging your relationships at work. I remember this meeting so vividly. There were 10 of us in this room, all of us wearing thick jackets or coats because it was so cold, it felt like we were in Europe during autumn. My boss was there laying out the project timeline. We were all discussing together how we were going to make this project work in the shortest period of time. Inside, my thoughts were racing because when I looked at the timeline, it felt too optimistic. I felt that we should extend the timeline, give the team a little buffer for unknowns. But there was this voice in me that spoke up. If I challenged this project timeline that was laid out by my boss, then it would look like as if I was disrespecting him, I was embarrassing him in front of everyone. So I sat there with my fingers fidgeting, nodding and agreeing to everything that was said in the room. Believe it or not, 2 weeks later, when the project started, the problem that I worried about, it exploded. And everyone was scrambling to fix it. And there I thought, if I had only raised out my concerns, if I had only shared my thoughts, this thing wouldn't have happened. I was too self-conscious about myself, my thoughts, how I project my own image in front of everyone, that this supersedes the best interest of the project. And that moment was the moment that I realized it isn't about disagreeing with the conversation. It's more about the way I did it. And that moment was the moment that I realized that disagreeing wasn't the problem, but the manner how I did it was the one that really mattered the most. And here is one technique that changed everything for me. It's called the yes and. When you go into the meeting and you disagree with something, instead of saying, I don't think this is the right thing to do, then you can say, yes, I see that value in your approach. And I was wondering if we could also think about this other strategy. The magic word here is yes and. So you're not telling people that you think it is wrong, which raises their defensive fence immediately. You're saying, yes, I agree with this approach, and how about let's consider this other approach. And when you use this emotional shift, you see that the defenses actually come down. You feel like you're not pushing against a wall. Instead, you feel like you're layering a stepping stone so that you can move forward. At first, my brain will protest against this approach. It says, hey, don't say anything wrong. But then I remind myself, what you are trying to say is not something that is going against them, but rather you are trying to propose another solution that will add value to the conversation. And when you do that, you can notice the expression in the other person's faces. Instead of furrowed eyebrows, you will see a more relaxed facial expression. And instead of folded hands, you will see open hands ready to accept new ideas. And instead of tension in the room, you will hear, I think that's a good point. And that's when I realized that disagreeing doesn't have to feel like a conflict. It can feel like teamwork being at play. Let's say your project manager says, let's complete this task in 2 weeks. And based on your own experience, you know that 2 weeks is a little too optimistic for the team. And there's this old voice that says, this can't work. I know 2 weeks is too optimistic and the team will burn out. Instead of using the old way, that won't work. It's impossible to complete this in 2 weeks. Try this instead. Yes, we understand the urgency. And to make sure that we deliver a quality project to the customers, what about looking at a 3-week timeline where we can do certain activities parallelly and still meet the final go-live date? The tone is collaborative, not combative. It suggests teamwork among the project team members. So the next time that little voice in your head that says, "Hey, stay quiet, else you sound rude," try this technique called yes and technique. It turns disagreement into collaboration, and when you do that, people don't just hear your words, they respect your perspective, and even better, they will be asking you for more ideas. If this resonated with you, remember to share this with a friend and press subscribe for more videos on communication and leadership, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.